for today, I wanted to do something different, in which I speak on the black man of our community. The reason why I say that is because I had released 2, maybe 3 videos speaking on the mentality of black women when it comes to creating families. And I'm sure that you have seen those videos. I believe it's 2 of them. But I have another video that I mentioned that I create content that's fair and balanced. So I'm not one of those content creators who are just gonna make my content solely on black women. I'm not gonna sit there and create a channel where anyone can just come in and just speak down on or criticize black women and spread their hatred for black women. This is not the channel for that. There's other channels out there, and if you're one of those type of guys that wants to engage in that type of behavior, you can feel free to go to those channels. And on the opposite end, this is not a channel to where I can just create content where I'm blaming black men for every single thing that goes on in the black community, and allow black women to come in and pretty much do the same thing. Because again, there's other channels out there that you have black women that are speaking down on black men, and if you want to engage in that type of behavior, you can feel free to go to those channels. This channel is fair and balanced. What you're going to find in this channel is you're going to find content where I will be sharing my opinions on black men and black women when it comes down to both the bad things that they are engaged in as well as the good things. Okay? Because I will be creating content where if I find news articles where you have black men or black women, black boys or black girls, they're out there doing good things for society, I'm gonna share that content. Because let's be honest, the media is not gonna do it. But you will find that type of content on this channel. But anyway, today I decided to be fair, and the topic today is, the topic that I'm going to speak on today is the problems of black men. Now, when you look at the thumbnail, you're going to find 4 pictures. And what we're going to do is we're going to take those pictures and equate those into the behaviors that black men are getting engaged in, which is causing a mockery of the black male image of our community. So, and by the way, I will be doing a video on the problems of black women and how their behaviors has pretty much mocked the black community as well. But I'm gonna do that video either tomorrow or sometime this week. But I will be doing a video on that again for the 3rd or 4th time. I'm fair and balanced. Okay, but today, on today's topic, let's start with the first picture. And I believe that the first picture you will find, and I'm talking about the top left of the thumbnail, you're gonna find a picture where you have black boys. I believe they're boys, it might be teenagers. But you're gonna find teenagers, and when you look at the picture, you're gonna see that they're pretty much just doing like what most people do, is they're having fun. Now, when you look at the photo, it doesn't seem like it's a big deal. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare that photo to what black men, for the most part, actually engaged in, what they engage in on the daily basis. Now, when you look at the photo, my perception is that they're laughing about a joke that must have been said. Okay, so there's nothing bad about that. There's nothing harmful about that. It just they're having fun. But at the same time, if you look deep into that photo, you can see that even though they're young black teenagers, you have grown black men that engage in that type of behavior to a point to where there's no progression on our culture. I'm going to use this as an example. When you go on YouTube, you have a lot of content creators. And you have, within that group of content creators, you have a certain group, a certain segment that's actually putting out substance. Whether they're talking about economics, they're talking about business, they're talking about relationships, they're actually putting out substance, you know. And for the most part, they're putting out substance for the betterment of the individual that's viewing that content. That individual, when they see that content, they're actually learning something from it. So when you see that, you're seeing something beneficial. You're right. You see something beneficial, and it's actually good that it's happening because depending on where you're from, you don't see it too often. I mean, I seen it all the time, but you got other people out there that been through. They grew up in communities where they just didn't have that type of mentorship. They just didn't. But what sickens me is the fact that those same content creators will, as they're going through the motions of putting out content on a daily basis, they're getting roadblocks. I'll call them roadblocks, obstacles, and those obstacles are preventing them to engage in substance that's a sign of growth. And those obstacles are other black men, and that's where that photo comes into play, because you have other black men who are being clowns with the intent on making jokes out of a good situation. What they'll do is they'll move past the facts that's being presented. And what they'll do is they'll engage in roasting, which doesn't lead to anywhere. It doesn't lead anywhere. Ain't nobody learning that. Nobody's learning anything from that. You have content creators that are getting mocked every day from these other black male content creators. You have guys that sitting there making fun of their appearance. Like, what the hell? What sense is that? What does their appearance have anything to do with the substance that they're giving out? I mean, the stuff that these other men engage in is not even conducive to society, particularly the black community. It's not even conducive. Like what they're doing is irrelevant to the main to the main goal, and the main goal is to achieve results. You have black male content creators making videos of other black men talking about they're bald, talking about they're fat, laughing at their beard, looking at their jewelry to try to figure out if their jewelry's fake or not, trying to figure out how much money they have in their the worth of their assets. They even go so far to where they start doxing man to they're trying to present to the public that these men went through some financial hardships in the past. Like that's none of your fucking business. It's none of our goddamn business. Listen to the substance that's being put out. Why do we care what the hell that man has that's going on in this man's life or what happens in the past? If he's putting something out that's beneficial, that you can learn from it, listen to it. Why not listen to it? But you over here instead, you over here talking about this guy here, you know, according to these docs, they got evicted not once but twice. How they gonna sit there and talk about somebody don't have no money when they got evicted in the past? What? And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I'm gonna tell you black men right now, black women see that. They see that type of behavior and they look down on it. They look down on that. And then a lot of you black men, y'all sit there and y'all wonder why black women create this content to where they're comparing the men of their tribe to other men from other tribes. Because, you know, they're trying to figure this out. How come we have men who are not at their level when it comes down to intellectual thinking? Why do we have men that are stuck on doing stupid things that's not conducive for us as a community to learn? And I'm telling y'all right now, I'm gonna tell you man right now, women are sick of that shit. Women are sick of going through social media and seeing the behavior of their man in their tribe engaged in buffoonery. They're tired of it. They're tired of it. This is the reason why a lot of these women are going out to other races of man. Because women, regardless of what race they're from or what race they're part of, women have been socially taught that the man run things. The man lead. The men are the ones that will sit there and provide. But when they're turning their heads left or to the right and they see the men in their community engaged in damn in stupid junk, they're thinking to themselves like, what's going on here? What's going on in our situation? A lot of you black men don't understand that if you push out real content, your channels will grow. I'm just starting out. I'm just starting out, but a lot of you guys been a lot of you guys been pushing out content for months now, maybe years, and you haven't even broke 200,000 yet. Because everybody who sees that content knows that it's garbage. It's garbage. And then if you were to sit back and look at the other content creators and the ones who passed 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 subscribers, more than likely they're pushing out real shit. People are actually watching their content because they want to learn something. They're not sitting there trying to watch content where you got black men talking bad about other black men, talking about their appearance, talking about their financial situation, talking about their family. They ain't trying to engage in that junk. They're not trying to hear that filth. And the reason why, because they have surpassed Arrested Development. They're at a level in which they're thinking like grown men and women. So now let's go to the next photo. The next photo on the thumbnail, I believe it's you'll see a picture of a woman who seems to be the mother of her son, which is also on that photo. And you know, I explained at the beginning of this video that I've made 2 previous videos that I mentioned about women are the ones who decide who they create families with. And I pretty much said that what I did say, I ain't gonna say pretty much, but I did say women are the ones who are at fault because of the way our family structure is now being presented out to the world. And again, I'm gonna be fair and balanced in this video, but you man gotta take blame for that too. You man have to take blame for that. Because it's just like that video I released, like the video I pushed out yesterday, where it shows that guy that's on TikTok. Now this video is being talked about across social media, but you have a guy who has 7 kids by 7 different women, and he's saying that he's not trying to take care of none of them. He even went so far to say that he offered the women that he was going to pay for the deletion of the baby. He was going to pay for the birth control for the women. And I also mentioned in the video that I was, you know, I spoke as if I was fair and balanced, because I said some of the things that pretty much what I was trying to, like, pretty much what I was saying was half the stuff he was saying was right and the other half wasn't. Because for the 8th time, I'm fair and balanced. And because of that, I gotta ask you, man, why are y'all having so many goddamn children if you're not trying to help the woman take care of the children? Like, did y'all go to school? I'm pretty sure you went to school, but did you learn anything? Because everybody should know now. I mean, hell, you got kids that's getting learned. Like, you have kids now in the 3rd or 4th grade that are now learning the concept of how babies work. When a man and a woman have sex, they create a child. So if you know that, then why are you engaging in that if you're not ready to have a kid? I mean, let's be honest. The way our society works in America is that when it comes to divorces or separations, and there's kids involved in those separations, the courts are going to allow the women to have the custody in most cases. Now, they do understand that one adult is not going to be able to manage enough to where she could be able to provide for that child. So what the courts have done, or the state has done, is they created a plan called child support that allows the other party, which is the father, to help the mother provide, like, pretty much to help the mother provide some form of financial stability. And the only reason why they do that is because they want to make sure the child or the kids are taken care of. But when you have a guy on a video talking about something, he's not going to help the women take care of the kid, that's fucked up. How the hell are you as a man can look at yourself and say that you have kids out there that you don't want to be a part of? How can you as a man look at yourself and say that the mother of those kids will be fending for herself? How can you look at yourself and say to yourself that because that woman will be fending for herself, she's going to do what most women do, and they're going to go to the state to get help? And if they go to the state to get help, that help is not free. Regardless if it's food stamps or public housing, that stuff is not free. We pay for that. So how the hell is you as a man can sit there and watch society take care of your responsibilities? And again, I mentioned this in one of my other videos. You have boys out there, they're like 16, 17, 18 years old, and they got to go out there and find jobs to help their moms take care of things in the home. They can't be like most teenagers and go out there and have fun. Like I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you, I'm glad I was raised in a proper family. I'm glad I had a good structure growing up. Because when you look at these boys now, man, it's just sad to watch. It's just sad to watch them move. It's sad to watch them interact out there in society. You got boys that's been thinking like man, always since they were 15, 16 years old. You got boys going to school and they can't even focus. They can't even concentrate on school because why? Because they got to worry about how they're going to help their mom pay for the bills. And this is true shit. You actually got boys in high school like that. They're instead of them sitting in classroom learning the material and trying to be like everybody else and actually do something to where they can potentially be successful, they got to sit in the classroom and stare at the damn wall and try to figure out if their mom be able to if their mom need help so she could pay for the rent. And the reason why, because you black man, y'all are just sorry, man. You just sorry. And then what kills me is a lot of you black men will sit there and go out and try to demand respect. Y'all go out there and you know, I'm a man too. You know, they need, I mean, even though I'm black, I'm still a man too. I'm a man too, and they act like it. Because I'm going to tell you right now, it's not just the black women who see this shit. It's everybody else across the goddamn America that see how black men operate. They see how black men operate. And the way you operate in most cases is not normal. You can't demand respect. Because hell, you don't even have self-respect for you don't have respect for yourself. You're lacking self-respect. You got these women out here taking care of your kids, and because they're one person, they can only do so goddamn much. So they're doing everything they can, and yet you out here walking around sagging your fucking pants, selling stupid shit like weed or playing with guns and shit like that. And you got these women sitting at home struggling, even to a point to where in some cases they're getting evicted. So now you have your kids. There's a chance that your kid's about to get kicked out of a damn apartment with the mother of your kids. And you instead of you trying to avoid that, you want to continue going around goofing off with other people. You want to go out there and be clowns, which goes back into the first picture. Now, let's go to the third photo below the second one. And I believe that's a photo of the homeless guy. And that photo goes two ways. Because when you look at that photo, you could tell that the guy, he doesn't have a place to go to. He just you know, he's being nomadic. He's wandering all over the place. He's out there. Right? But when you also look at the photo, it should also remind you about the man out there who have a place to stay, but is not under their name. You know what I'm talking about. You know the man who found women solely so they could live under the woman's roof. The woman has the lease to the place, and her name is on the lease. Her name is on the bills. And when you look at the lease and bills, his name is nowhere to be found, but he's in there. And the last time I checked, that's a level that's a type of homelessness, if you know it or not. If you stay in a place and your name is not on that lease, you're homeless. Now, regardless if you're living out in the streets or you're living in a woman's house, the thing that when you look at those two different points of that photo, they have one thing in common. And that is the man being jobless. Now, you know how many times I have pulled up to a convenience store or a gas station, and I'm pretty sure you have as well. Well, as far as this happening to you, you're experiencing this. But you pull up and you're minding your business, and your intent is to get gas or go in there and get something to drink and come out and then go home or go by your business or whatever the case. But there's some Negro out there looking at you as you pull up, and they're looking at you as you get out the car. They're watching you as you walk close to the store, and then they want to stop you and ask for change. And this happened to me twice, in which I'm walking and someone stopped me, asked for change. But as they're asking me for change, I'm looking at the damn door, and the door says, "Help wanted, applications needed." Like, why would you as a black man put yourself in a situation where you have to go out and you got to ask people for change when there's a lot of jobs out there? Now, it might not be jobs you don't like, which I got it, but if you at a point to where you have to be outside and ask for change from strangers, then any job should be just fine with you. And that's another reason why black women look down on black men the way they do. You know, right now, the way our society is, the way the workforce in our society is evolving, more jobs are becoming technical jobs. You have to become more you have to become more technically inclined in order to be able to work a lot of these jobs these days. Now, you still got the old-fashioned jobs, like, like stocking at Walmart or working at retail stores and you know, like other things like that. But one thing that there is a shortage of is trades. And what I mean by trades is you have electricians, roofing, plumbing, you know, things like that. Those are trades. And there's a big shortage of those trades. You got HVACs. It's all kinds of different types of trades. The most common one is getting your CDL. You know, when I retired from the Army and I did my 20 years, I went to school because the Army provides certain schools, and if needed, you can take advantage of those schools. So I took advantage of getting my CDL, and what I did was I used a little bit of my GI Bill to do that. So I've been having my CDL for like up to 2 years now. And I'm gonna tell you right now, there's a lot of jobs out there that need drivers. There's a lot of them out there. And for you guys who don't have jobs, mainly the ones, I'm not trying to be funny, but the ones who don't have no home in your name. You're living out on the streets, or you're living with some female under her roof. The CDL is where you want to go. CDL is where you want to go, because you have what is called local and you have over the road, whether it's regional or across the country. If it's local, more than likely you're probably just driving within your city or within your state at the most. You're not going outside the state, and in some cases you might not be going outside the city. But well, I ain't gonna say in most cases. Some cases you might not gonna move outside the city, but in most cases you're not moving out the state if you're local. But you're going to make it home that night. And you have a job. The job, and a lot of companies out there are paying good money. They pay good money. Now, when you speak on over the road, whether it's regional or across the country, if it's regional, you might have to drive on the East Coast or West Coast, and then you come back. So you probably be going at the most a week. If it's over the road where you drive across the country, you might be home every 2 weeks. But at the end of the day, you have companies that's going to give you a truck that have sleepers in the back. You have 2 beds in the back. You have a refrigerator, and you have a microwave, and you might have to pay for your own TV, but you can just go to your pawn shop and buy one of those. But you pretty much have your house in a truck. And then if you go to the truck stops, you could take showers in the truck stops. Now, a lot of people might laugh when I say this, but if you're homeless to a point to where you can't take showers and you don't have no money to where you got to stand out in front of a store and ask for money, CDL is where you want to go. A CDL can work wonders for you. And to top it off, yeah, I was able to use my GI Bill to pay for my schooling to get my CDL. But you have states, like this state, for example, Texas. Well, in most states, they have CDL. The state provides CDL schools, like training. You just got to go and ask about it. And then if you don't want to take that route, you have a lot of these jobs because the country has a big shortage of drivers. And a lot of these jobs, they're trying to keep because they have to, for their companies to continue to survive, they got to have so many drivers out on the road to take care of the loads. So now these companies are offering their own schools that you don't have to pay for. All you gotta do is go up there, fill out the application, and they'll you sign the contracts, and they'll put you in the class. They'll give you a hotel for free. You go in the class, you take the class for maybe like a good month. They're paying for the hotels. They help you get your CDL, your license. They'll schedule your physical, and then they'll schedule your time at the DMV so you can get that endorsement put on your license. And dude, the only thing you have to do to pay them back is probably work with them for like 2 or 3 years. And after 2 or 3 years, your debt is paid off. So you can quit that job if you don't like it and go get another job with your CDL. Again, I'm not trying to be funny explaining this, but a lot of people don't know. A lot of people really don't know. And instead of you out there trying to hustle and try to ask people for money, you could be doing that and get your own money. Because you definitely going to make a lot more by the week than compared to if you're going out there ask for money and by the, you know what I'm saying, and by the end of the week. In the end of the week, you might end up making like good $5-10. But then in some companies, in most cases, you'll make $1,300-$1,400 by the end of the week. Because truck driving, a lot of companies pay by the week. You have some that pays every 2 weeks, but you have a lot of them that pays by the week. You can't beat that, man. You can't beat that. But instead of asking questions or trying to learn something, you rather go out there and just be a buffoon. You rather go out there and just sit on your ass on the corner and just wait for the opportunity to loot a store, or just panhandle, or you just sit at the house and play video games, and then you got your woman working because the lease is under her name, so she has to work in order to pay that fucking rent. But you rather sit on your ass on her couch and play the video games that was the only thing you brought into the house. You didn't bring nothing else into the house. The only thing you had was that video game. But you doing that, but watching her do all damn work, and you wonder why a lot of these women don't respect you. You wonder why they don't respect you. Now, you go to the last photo, and you'll see a picture of thugs. Look like they're in a gang. Now, we can all say that everybody else, every other man from every other race they also have gangs, which is true. But again, I'm focused on the black community. And if you ask why, I answer it. It's because I'm black. I don't care about nobody else. I don't. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But when you look at the last picture with the thugs, the picture in itself is already disturbing. It's already disturbing. Because when you look at that photo, that photo represents the attitudes of what I explained from the previous 3 photos. How is that? Because in that group of men that you see wearing those bandanas, you got a couple men in there that are clowns. And because they're clowns, they didn't take life serious. So because they didn't take life serious, they don't have no foundation to stand on. They have no resources. So what they do is they go to the next thing available, which is to be a part of a group. Then you have, in that photo, you're more likely to have men that fall under the category of the second photo, where you have the mother and the son. And the reason why is because at the end of the day, because that boy is growing up with no structure, and the mother doing the best she can, that boy doesn't have a male role model. And because he doesn't have a male role model, he doesn't know the right way of moving through life. He doesn't have a man that can sit there and reel him back in anytime he's crossing that boundary of doing something stupid. He doesn't have that man that's there to punch him in the chest when he's out there engaged in the most disturbing activities out there. So because of that, he naturally gravitates to gangs. Because at the end of the day, he still needs a male role model. And if he can't get it from home, he's going to get it from a gang. And now you got the third picture. Because those guys, they more likely don't have their own place to stay. They're probably living out on the streets or living out in some crack house, they're not taking the crack, they're just selling it. Or they're living with some goddamn woman where you got the woman's her name is the only name on the lease. And see, this is another reason why black women look at black men the way they do. This is the reason why black women look at black men the way they do. Because instead of black men going out there and leading and trying to set positive examples out there for young black men to gravitate to or to emulate, they just got these boys running buck wild and they're not even out there to guide them. And these women know this. These women know that these women in the black community know that a lot of these feminists out there in America, these white feminists, they know they're full of shit. All that talk about you can raise a boy to be a man and all the other crazy shit, they know that these women are full of shit when they say that. These black women ain't stupid. They're not. They know they need a male role model, whether it's an uncle or just a community mentor. They know that boy needs someone. It could be a coach for a basketball team, a football team. They know this. But what they want is they want that boy's father to be the role model. They want that boy's father to do his job. But you're not doing your job. You're too busy trying to put yourself in one of these 4 pictures that's presented on the thumbnail. Let's look at let me pick some random. I'll pick a random person. LeBron James. Now, LeBron James grew up in a home where the father was gone. I believe he knew exactly where the father lived at, but the father wasn't in the same exact home. So, in other words, he grew up with a single mother. And from my understanding, his mother wanted him to have a positive male role model. Now, I'm assuming that the father wasn't a good fit. I don't know. I mean, I never went deep into his biography, but I can say that she wanted a good male role model for him because she saw her son having a lot of potential in basketball, and she didn't want her son to mess that up. So what she did was she had his coach be his role model. And she really didn't have to do that because LeBron James, being that he loves sports, he's going to listen to that coach because he knows that coach, for him to get better in that sport, he's going to have to listen to someone who's real skillful in that sport, and they'll be the coach. And what happened was the coach did become his influence. And look at him. Look at him. The man's one of the best NBA players in history. He has a beautiful wife and a beautiful family that stays out of trouble. Now, we know that every boy is not going to be NBA players and NFL players, NHL players, or whatever sport. We know this. But there's a chance that that boy can have a good future. There's a chance that he can be a leader in corporate America. There's a chance that he could be a leader in the military. Success doesn't mean that you have to be rich. I mean, some people might, but that's not really what the definition of success is. Everybody has their own definition of success. So if you put that, so women know that if they put their son in a situation where they can have proper guidance, then they know their son has a better chance in society. But as long as you black men keep playing these goddamn stupid ass games, and what games am I talking about? I'm talking about the games that you're engaged in on what we just talked about from the 4 pictures on the thumbnail. If you man will wake up, if you wake up and stop being clowns, stop being lazy, stop engaging in disturbing activities, and stop being sexual deviants where you got these women walking around with 3, 4, 5 kids and yet you don't want to help them out. If you stop doing all that shit, I'm telling you right now, women will start respecting you. But until then, you cannot get mad when these women get on YouTube and they put out their emotions, they put out their feelings towards their race of man in their tribe. You just can't. You can't. But I'm going to end the video with that. And again, for you men out there that's looking for jobs, I highly recommend you look up trade jobs. I'm telling you, there's a big shortage. There's a big shortage in America for those trade jobs, and it's even becoming a point to where you got some states that are providing schooling for those jobs. Schooling that you don't even have to pay for. You might not even have to pay for. So check it out, man. Check it out. There's a lot of opportunities out there. There's a lot of opportunities out there. Don't act like no victim. You are not a victim. You're not. But let me know what y'all think in the comment section. And please subscribe to the channel. I know my previous videos have been rough. I have I've been lacking the development stage of editing my videos, so they're probably coming out pretty tacky or corny or whatever, but it's a work in progress. Okay, it's a work in progress. So bear with me, please. But subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up. Again, let me know what you know. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and I'll see you next time. Peace.